Welcome. This is the October 20th, 2025 meeting of the Wallingford Zoning Board of Appeals. I'd like to start the meeting by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight's decision will be published in the Record Journal on Friday, October 24th, 2025. The effective date of your variance will be Friday, October 24th, 2025. The date a certified copy is recorded on the land records. The statutory 15-day appeal period will expire on Sunday, November 9th, 2025. If you commence operations and/or construction during the appeal period, you do so at your own risk. Voting tonight is Bob Gross, Tom Wolfer, Karen Radis, Ray Rise, and myself, Joe Russick. First application's a variance request 25-032 for 5 Research Parkway, Wallingford, LLC. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, we do, Mr. Chairman. We have staff notes that read as follows. Applicant seeks variance approval for overhead electric utility service where underground utilities are required for new development to provide electric service to approved warehouse building at 5 Research Parkway in a WI district. The parcel is 174 acres and received site plan approval for a 450,000 square foot warehouse in December 2022. Site plan modification was approved in July 2025. The electric service would initiate underground from Carpenter Lane to the north and transition overhead for approximately 3,000 feet to the approved building. Topography and nature of the terrain, coupled with a requirement for electric service to construct and occupy any structure, necessitate this portion of the service be provided above ground. There is no comparison for a site complying with a distance anywhere in proximity of 3,000 feet with underground utilities. Wallingford Electric Division has supported the need and plan for proposed overhead utilities as per the submitted plan. We also have interdepartmental memorandums or communications from the Electric Division, from the Water and Sewer Divisions, from the Engineering Department, from the Health Department, and from Inland and Wetlands. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Jeff Checkaway. I'm with 5 Research Parkway, Wallingford, LLC, and we own the property located at 5 Research Parkway in Wallingford. With me is Bill Fries with BL Company, who's an engineer of record for the approved site plan that we're here for, seeking variance.
Okay, please explain your application and what you're looking to do.
Yep, so, and to start out too, we've had multiple communication with Jake Arborio of the Wallingford Electric Division. We've communicated with him about the size of the service that we're looking for, the type of service that we need, the timeline it takes to get some of these things to start developing this property for the use intended. And in those meetings, it's become apparent that the source of Wallingford Electric delivering power is on Carpenter Lane. I'll show you. Is at the Carpenter Lane access point. It's not at the 5 Research Parkway entrance, which is over here. So this would have been much closer, but the infrastructure for Wallingford Electric to provide power does come from this area. It's where it was sourced from for the previous development when Crystal Myers was there. So the regulation is that it needs to be on private property underground, some 3,200 something feet all the way to the building. And during that installation becomes a very permanent utility in place. And we're proposing that because we're on private property, that really, because of vegetation and everything else, it won't really be visible from any of the street points. And I brought some photos that supplied that as well. But we're looking to go overhead to do this. in a manner, not only because at some point, 2/3, 3/4 of the way there, we have the Muddy River flows from the east to the west, and we'd be crossing the Muddy River, so if we were to place that underground, it would be more of an impact to that area. We're proposing to do overhead poles where we've spoken with Erin O'Hare, and you know, we know that we would have to go back to her if we get a variance to locate at one specific pole, and we're actually working with Wallingford Electric and with the engineer to try to remove this pole out of that area, the limited disturbance there, the upland review area. So that, you know, one of the things we're looking to do is, you know, lessen the impact by going above ground here. And in general too, like the assigned service that we're looking for, lead times become a little bit better from Wallingford Electric Division. They supply the power that we need in a much more timely manner if we're going above ground versus underground. And then the big thing for us as owner of this 174 plus acre site is that we have a approved site plan for the bottom for the 445,000 square foot warehouse. And the north half of the site, which has the ability to be developed, where you don't know what we're doing with it yet. We're kind of trying to get to the point here where we're getting this project forward. But by putting 3,000 feet of underground electric, it kind of impedes our ability to use this site in the future. It's not something that can easily be moved, where if you have an overhead line, you can reroute it or relocate it as needed based on what your future development is here. And just coming from background in construction is that when the lines are underground, if you have an operating business that's using 5 megawatts of power, you can't really have a shutdown of any long duration of time. And when you have underground service, you can't really do like a hot swap, or if you were to like reroute something, you lose like weeks of time, like putting new pads in and running underground wires, where if it's overhead, it gives you the ability of having like a shutdown of maybe 4 to 6 hours in one day, which is, you know, in a tenant's operation, you know, not helpful, but it is a manageable downtime versus having something that could be 2 or 3 weeks. Those are essentially the hardships that we're seeking to go above ground for this overhead line versus underneath. And if you have any specific questions as to the engineering,
What happened to the infrastructure for Bristol Myers?
So there is an underground pipe that went to a central utility plant
Right.
that was located.
The cup.
Yeah, right here. Because of the age of that, I don't believe that Wallingford Electric's allowed us to reuse that, but they also rerouted this power and other parts of it. There was an above ground piece that spanned the Muddy River that, you know, has been demolished as part of like taking the Bristol Myers stuff down. So that access way, that pathway from here to there no longer exists. So we would need to cross that culvert, and this is the main access road, like on that road area.
Okay. Anybody got any questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Oh, yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Ray.
Oh,
Go ahead.
he,
No, he's-
So I said, they said photos, and he's gonna bring us the
Yeah,
photos.
he's gonna bring the
Yeah.
photos.
Should have had them with their.
yeah, I do.
I had just provided, and
Would be
you
so
know,
better than what's on
the
there.
174 acre site it's really, this is the main entrance. You can't see anything
Yeah, we
within
all
the
got
site.
I
And
thought
then,
maybe he had photos from online, when he's mentioned photos, I thought maybe he had photos on the property that he was talking about.
no, sorry. And then I did have just photos that the service on Carpenter Lane, you know, is in fact all overhead.
It's overhead, but it goes down
Yeah.
into a splice box.
Yeah, at that access point.
It's actually in the property.
Yep.
Yeah. I worked at Wallingford Electric, so
Yeah, no, I have a picture of the pole that comes down and goes in.
I would imagine that underground is probably still pretty good to pull a cable through. The problem is the cable's been de-energized for so long, you'd have to pull new cable. But if they're okay with it. Bob, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
I have a question.
Oh, hold on, he's
no, Ray,
first.
go right.
Well, you said.
I
sorry
mean-
for- oh, go ahead.
The only question that I have is, the lines and the poles, who owns those?
I believe they would be on private property, so they would be owned by, you know, the owner of 5 Research Parkway, Wallingford LLC.
Are you paying for this? The
As part
power?
of the development of the project, yes.
Okay, Thank you.
So, the rules are that they are supposed to be underground. When Bristol Myers had it, there was just an area above the culvert that was above ground, or everything was underground? Does anybody know?
I don't know, I've been up there, I've been in the cup. I didn't pay that much attention to,
I didn't walk on their
I
property.
believe it was underground.
the whole property looked like it was all underground.
And the town regulations are they would like it underground for that area.
New,
But-
not for that area, any new construction.
Right.
But the general
But
manager has said
There's nothing
that
comparative to this size
they're-
of
they're o-
property having to go
they're
underground.
okay with it.
And it's new development, so it's just a requirement that they need to have.
Then if you were bringing in another, once we make a precedent to bring it over to here, he talked about developing on one side of the property. Would they be allowed to bring those in overhead too also, or would they?
It's a separate issue.
Yeah, I
This is
understand, so
variances
that
for-
makes it to me.
But that, see, but the thing is,
it's
once they bring it in, right, that road is there. There's an access road that comes from Carpenter Lane and it goes into the backside, which actually was for the utilities, that's what that road was for. And then they used it for construction vehicles. But once they set this, they're gonna use it.
They'll go.
So it's not like anything anymore, and probably once they get, my opinion is, and probably Wallingford Electric would want it too, is once they decide what their other section is, they'll just drop a riser off the pole, and then they'll go underground to the next. Just one part of this, though, it is easier to maintain an overhead service like this than it is underground.
Sure.
Because once you get a fault underground, you know, in a couple hours, somebody could come in, fix that fault, a lightning strike or whatever. You could be out with a fault for a while, and, you know, they usually have a backup in there. You're gonna pull an extra once you pull, but, it is easier to maintain.
But all the tubing is still probably, with all the lines are probably still underground. I agree.
There's no
The
lines
wires might
underground.
not be any good, but the tubes, whatever you're carrying, the wires underground, they're usually
Conduit.
100 year or more.
Yeah, in our conversations, I believe that we're directed not only for the electric, but for like gas utility as well, that we wouldn't be able to reuse what was there based on the age and the previous.
But they're not gonna go to where the Bristol Myers power plant is anyways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, unless there was a splice box somewhere where they could stop and continue on, or a transformer somewhere, pad,
They're
whatever.
going further.
They're going further.
Can you go all the way to where Bristol Myers was before and get as much of the underground as possible?
But the underground didn't go that way. It went into their, power plant, and then from there it branched out.
I don't know, I don't know, we have rules in town and I just have a hard
Well,
time.
I understand what you're saying, but when the general manager is, from the electric division, is saying they're okay with it, you know, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But. Anybody else have any questions? Is there anybody here to speak in favor of this application? Anybody here to speak against it?
Questions about it.
Okay, could you come up?
We need a
Not to
mic.
say where I am,
Can you guys hear that? Oh, here, come over here
Get
to the
closer to one of the
microphone.
microphones.
Okay.
You
Okay.
want a chair?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
Okay, state your name and address for.
15 Valley View Drive, Wallingford.
Okay.
And I agree with you, Mr. Gross. Did the applicant not know what the zoning regulations were for the property when they purchased it and had some idea of what they were going to do? And the tunneling exists for Bristol Myers. Now, it might have to go a little further, but it exists, and you can run the wires through it. And I don't know where the poles will be, but a lot of the focus on the underground services is for water protection. You're in a watershed area. That is a main part of the focus when you look at the regs. It's about water safety, water quality. You have residents on the east side with wells I don't know whether the construction, has any impact on that, but it's something to think about. And we do have the Muddy River, which is our water source for about 80 to 90% of the town. It's a big deal, and when something goes wrong, very difficult to make it right again. And you have many things in the regulations talking about underground is more reliable as a source. Down wires create issues with pollution, overhead forest fires, maintenance of poles and overheads can bring herbicides. There's got to be control for that. So again, I have questions. And again, did the applicant know, did they ever look at the zoning regs? We've had lots of interest in this property. And this, to my knowledge, and I could be wrong, is the first time anyone has asked for a variance to bring overhead utilities. So I am against it. I don't think it's necessary. And I think that the zoning regs are well considered, well thought out, well written for the safety of water. And that's pretty paramount for us. So thank you.
Thank you. Is anybody else here to speak against this application? Hearing, seeing none. Do you have anything further you'd like to add before we close the public hearing and open up for discussion and possible
I
action?
know that Ms. Munger had a couple of questions that she stated. I can provide a little bit, but, from a protection of the water, we're talking about adding poles, which is a very minimal disturbance versus trenching some 3,000 feet of digging up the dirt, digging up the earth, digging up in the upland review area of the Muddy River, and we wouldn't need to do any of that if we were to go overhead. So I think, from a water protection standpoint, that was also another reason why I was looking for this to be more favorable. That was all that I had.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to close the public hearing and open up for discussion and possible action by the board.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I have a question for Amy.
Okay, go ahead.
So it says here on this interdepartmental communication from inland wetlands, if I'm reading this correctly, and it's handwritten, so it's a little hard to read the handwriting here, but it looks like they'll need to obtain permitting relative to the installation of the utility pole from inland wetlands?
As was mentioned, the location of one of their poles.
Okay.
But I should make a point of order here too. In our utilities and lighting section, regulations are not based on water protection. The purpose, regional purpose in your regulations of all, for any construction, is to improve the appearance of streetscapes by removing the proliferation of overhead wires and unnecessary illumination of the property. That's the intent.
And if we approve the variance here, they still need to go?
They have to go to wetlands, but in their location.
Yep, okay. Thank you.
It is, you can do it underground though.
Hold on, we close the public
Okay.
hearing. Anybody else got any questions or discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the above-ground utilities where underground utilities are required to provide electric service at 5 Research Parkway as shown on proposed development. Exhibit Site Utilities Plan, 5 Research Parkway dated 6/12/25 and revised 9/9 of 25, and submitted documents received 9/11/25. So moved. Excuse me, subject to the comments that were listed below from the engineer, the electric division, and the environmental planning department. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Gross.
No to approve.
Mr. Wolford.
Yes to approve.
Ms. Raditz.
Yes to approve.
Mr. Rice.
Yes to approve.
And Chairman Russell.
Yes. Your variance has been granted. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yep. The next application is, it's closed. The public hearing is closed.
About, you said there's a 15-day appeal, but that's for residents or property.
You can call the planning office in the morning and they'll answer your question, okay?
Thank you.
Next public hearing is 25-033, variance request for Kovacs at 105 Grandview Avenue. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we have staff comments that read as follows. Applicant received variance approval in May of 2025 for a front yard of 4 feet to locate a single-bay detached garage. Upon contracting construction/delivery of the approved garage, the separation distance of 2 feet 3 inches between dwelling and the garage was insufficient for Connecticut building and fire code requirements. Separation distance was 9 inches short of the amount required. This modified variance request is for a front yard of 3 feet versus 4 feet to allow for an ample code separation compliant location for the same proposed garage. This office supports the modified variance request, as do relative interdepartment offices. As variance approval for the same project was previously granted, the board may respectfully consider waiving the modification reapplication fee. And then we also have interdepartment communications from electric, from water and sewer, from the engineering department, from the health department, and from inland and wetlands. And that's it.
Thank you. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Rita Kovacs, 105 Grandview Avenue.
Welcome. Please explain what you got going on here.
Pretty much of what went on in May, I wanted to have a prefab one-bay garage put on my property. I've lived there 2 years, and I brought a bad house back to good for Wallingford, and I didn't like the garage. So when I went to, I'm buying it from Cloder Farms, and the young man up there said, I was going to try and put it in the back. When I got my variance for the front, I said, oh, I'll try for the back. And when I went, he said it has to be 3 feet from the house. And I didn't, no matter where I put it. So I'm back here to get 3 feet from the house. To be in compliance. I mean, I sent it, it went, I did everything I was supposed to before, but it wasn't caught. This kid at Cloder Farms did. So.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
here to ask for, may I please have my garage?
So it's the same thing, you're just looking for a foot closer, or, right?
Yes, to make the house in
Yep.
compliance with the fire issue.
Mhm.
When they're attached garages or when they're less than 3 feet have to be constructed of alternate materials, fire suppression, and the prefab isn't. So that's how, she's very lucky she had a astute contractor.
Any-
Yeah, who picked it up.
Anybody have any questions for the
So-
applicant?
Just for edification then, so if it had different material, it wouldn't need to be 3 feet away.
It would have to be constructed entirely differently.
Right, but I'm
Yeah.
saying,
That garage that you approved would not be able to be there.
we didn't approve a garage, we just approved the distance.
You approved,
We
you
didn't approve the
approved,
model.
yes, you did. You approved everything that was submitted. You submitted plans and the survey is what the variance was based on, which is why any little slight change as this was requires her to return.
Anybody else have any questions for the applicant? Hearing, seeing none. Anybody here in favor of this application? Anybody here against it? Hearing, seeing none. Do you have anything further you'd like to add? I'm going to close the public hearing and open up for discussion and possible action by the board.
Mr. Chairman, before we make a motion to approve or disapprove, I'd like to make a motion to respectfully waive the fee for the application because it was collected before and we should have got it then. But it seems a little bit ridiculous to charge again. But that's
You want to incorporate that, maybe?
No motion.
Well,
Just
you make
Yeah.
the motion.
motion to waive the fee on this application based on
I'll second it.
Okay.
thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Nay. It was against the application originally.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve the request for a front yard of 3 feet to locate detached garage as shown on limited property boundary survey, land of Rita Kovach, 105 Grandview Avenue, dated 3/13/24, and submitted plans received April 11, 2025. So moved.
Second.
Motion to approve, Mr. Gross.
There was no original, so I'm staying no.
Mr. Wolf.
Yes.
Ms. Radis.
Yes, to approve.
Mr. Rice.
Yes to approve.
And Chairman Hennessy.
Yes, your variance request has been approved. Good luck.
Thank you, and I appreciate the rebate as well.
Mr. Wolfer.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the minutes or accept the minutes as submitted for the September meeting that we had.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's it.